What looks like a lush forest from the outside hides creatures waiting to surprise you. Gigantic monsters or animals acting mysteriously.
Oh shit! What the?
These are your nightmare brought to life, so prepare to be shocked as we unveil the dark side of the Amazon. Now, let's see what has kept the internet confused. This bizarre video left everyone questioning, could dragons be real after all? Apparently a deceased dragon was found in Tibet. The creature's skin had turned gray, like it's been decomposing for a while. It's 3 toes on its back feet and 4 toes on its front legs. There were even feathers still stuck to its body. Many people said it looked just like Charizard, the famous dragon from Pokemon. So what was it really? Maybe someone made a very clever dragon model, or maybe Tibet really housed these monstrous giants. Chupacabra. Believed to exist since the 1900s, Chupacabra is one of those creatures whose identity hasn't been confirmed, but it looks like the creature was finally captured in its natural habitat. A trail camera in the woods managed to capture footage of a creature that didn't look like any known animal. Previous sightings were dismissed as other canines or animals suffering from mange. This one seemed the most legit, and when even locals around the area reported their own animals disappearing, the fact just became more believable, as Chupacabra are known to hunt unsuspecting animals.
Man, it's an over 200 pounder right here.
I'll never understand some people's bravado. What prompts them to dive deep in the depths and pull out monstrous creatures truly beats me. And one that snaps like this. Nope, it's pure silliness. Now some joke this was a gargantuan reptile, perhaps even a dragon, but we all know that's not really the case. I looked into it and this looks like an alligator snapping turtle, and if it is one, it's a record holder because look at that size. Even if it's just a regular turt, you can't convince me this isn't something we should treat ordinarily.
God, that's a big one right here.
Serpent with horns. Back in September 2022, this clip went viral online, and people thought a newly evolved snake species had emerged. The footage showed a snake with horns on each side of its head, slithering away. While some people believed the horned snake, others were skeptical, saying the curved horns looked like they didn't belong to the snake's head, leaving the existence of this snake a mystery. And if that wasn't it, another video surfaced online, showing a gigantic ghostly pale snake resting on a tree. This one was also sporting 2 upturned horns. There have been tales of such massive snakes with horns in ancient mythology, but they were never in real life until now. Do you think it was the mythical creature that came to life? Mermaid aphobia. What if I told you mermaids didn't look the way we think? That they don't really have beautiful humanoid figures and flowing hair? And if we think about it, most old tales about mermaids paint them as scary, horrifying beings. That concept must have been driven out of somewhere. Here's a glimpse into a monstrous being captured by a diver somewhere in the Amazon River. And if this is anything close to a mermaid, we've been lied to all this time. While some are speculating this could be doctored, many more are wondering if such creatures lie in wait under the waves all over the world. Hobbit Man. A hiker caught something strange on video deep in the woods. While walking through the forest, he filmed what looked like a tiny person, short and round, with hair falling down its back. Just like the hobbits we've heard about in stories, but this was in real life. As soon as the small creature noticed it was being filmed, it ran away quickly. The video spread all over the internet. Some people said it was a hoax, just a trick with the camera, but others wondered if this could prove that these small, ancient human-like beings weren't actually extinct after all. What do you think was in those woods that day? Blue cobra. Nature always finds ways to leave us shocked. Have a look at what this guy caught in the woods, digging up the ground to find something valuable. This guy came across these blue cobra snakes. You might think someone had dyed them, but they are very much real. Their blue hue makes them not only unique, but also incredibly rare. It's not easy to find something like this. This guy definitely hit the jackpot. Forest creature. A guy out in the woods came across this and was left in complete shock. A tall, furry creature that looked straight out of Jurassic Park. It seemed to be climbing a step when it became aware of the guy recording and turned around and showed its small face with a long snout. After standing there for a while, it slowly escaped into the woods, leaving behind a long trail of questions. No one could figure out what it was, and internet folks had a lot of speculations. Some said it could be one of the remaining prehistoric giants. Others suggested the possibility of a hybrid, but for now, its identity has remained unknown. Before we move any further, like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon so you can keep watching our amazing content. What forest monster? Lately, a lot of creatures have started emerging out in broad daylight. Thinking about them existing is one thing, but what if you encountered one yourself? Something like this happened with this guy when he came across this behemoth of a creature walking casually. Unnaturally long limbs, bent on all fours, it walked like an ape, but several times bigger, and it seemed blissfully unaware of the guy. Or maybe it was ignoring him on purpose. Whatever the reason, it's not worth standing close to a creature you know little to nothing about. Double trouble.
This is actually Ben and Jerry. This is a thing that's called
If you're scared of snakes, this is your chance to skip a couple of seconds ahead. You see, it's pretty rare to find such creatures, even though Mother Nature's capable of everything. And it's even rarer because such snakes don't survive because they're not only fighting against other snakes, but also themselves. The strongest survival of the fittest. But as unusual as they may seem, such animals can still be found in the Amazon and other deep jungles. I guess nature truly surprises you.
This is actually Ben and Jerry. This is a thing that's called
Venoms Glimpse.
Ma, you see this?
It looks like Venom is more than just something out of a Marvel comic. It looks like its creators were inspired by some real-life anomaly. Just take a look at this. Even if you argue this is some sort of slug, how on earth does it move like that? I don't know. It really looks like this is a real evil creature, at least to me. As for whatever this is and where it is, we don't have to worry because it was allegedly filmed somewhere in Africa, so we're safe for a while.
Ma, you see this?
Stranger being. Deep in the depths of the Amazon, there are creatures rumored to exist that will defy every single thing you've believed in. And here's a glimpse into a monster like that, captured by a lost hiker who had the good sense to stay put. The creature looks like something you'd expect from a Stranger Things episode. Heck, even I had a hard time believing this existed. But if you think about it, we don't really know what lies across the earth. And if creatures like these are a hint, maybe, just maybe, we've never truly been alone all this time. Unknown remains.
Oh, yeah. Well, I found some more.
An exploration trip in the woods turned into a very strange discovery when the guy came across these remains lying on the ground. A very strange looking skull lined with numerous teeth was found lying on the ground. Having no idea who the skull belonged to, he posted the footage online and got a lot of theories.
What animal is this from? All these teeth, is that a deer?
Some thought it could be some wild animal. Others thought as the skull seemed to be in such pristine condition with almost all teeth intact, it could be possible that someone intentionally left it there to freak hikers out.
Oh, yeah. Well, I found some more.
Tiny skeleton. When a guy found this odd-looking skeleton near a torn-down bird's nest, he knew it wasn't something normal. Taking it home, he decided to inspect it, and the tiny skeleton had a humanoid skull, a couple ribs, a long spine, and the rest of its body was missing. The creature was an anomaly itself, but what seemed even more strange was how did it end up in a bird's nest? Did it come out of an egg, or was it a sign of something threatening? The guy had no clue what its deal was, as he was unable to find anything that would solve the mystery of its identity. Demonic presence. If something like this arose from the ground, you better hope it goes back in. Now I don't know what on earth this creature is or what it's trying to be. What I do know is that this is the stuff of nightmares. I mean, even if it's just a person donning a suit to pull a prank, they haven't got a good sense of humor, but something about this suggests it's not a prank. It was filmed in Argentina, where locals believe this is actually a demonic spirit that haunts an abandoned hut, but that's more than enough for me to stay away. Varginha Alien. This strange video got everyone talking online. It showed what looked like an alien being kept somewhere dark. The grayish looking creature with a tiny hand seemed scared and tried to hide when light shone toward it. People who saw the video had different theories. Some related it to the infamous Varginha alien incident and thought it was the alien that survived in the crash, while others thought the clip was just a hoax to gain views. Whaled up.
Nossa equipe da Secretaria Municipal de Meio Ambiente.
You know, we've seen some pretty weird things, and for most of them, we've been able to come up with good explanations. But this is something that truly shakes your brains. I mean, come on, how on earth did a big whale manage to end up in the depths of the Amazon? That's like trying to find a needle in a haystack, and this one's a carcass too, which means something mysterious caused it to pass away. Experts have tried to come up with explanations. Some say the whale might have been swept up shore, but it still doesn't explain how in deep the carcass was found.
Nossa equipe da Secretaria Municipal de Meio Ambiente.
Hands on Anaconda. A group of friends got more than they bargained for during their boat trip. There, at the river's edge, lay one of nature's most impressive predators, a huge anaconda. Instead of keeping their distance, one brave friend reached out and grabbed the snake's tail, trying to drag it toward their boat. And that's when they saw it. A massive bulge in the snake's middle, probably a feast it was trying to digest in peace. What the friends didn't know at first was that bothering an anaconda after it eats is a bad idea. These snakes sometimes spit out their meal if they feel threatened. Luckily, the group finally decided to leave the mighty snake to rest. Mystery being.
That. Whoa!
This isn't just an insect, well, at least to me. It was discovered by an amateur explorer in the Amazon who at first assumed he had simply stumbled upon a giant insect's carcass. Out of pure curiosity, he recorded the video and dipped, but when he showed it to the local tour guide, he realized this was no ordinary insect and had in fact never been seen before.
What the hell is that? Whoa!
It is said the explorer returned to the site, but the carcass was gone. Do you think there's some foul play at hand?
Is that? Whoa!
Biggest snake. When a crane was pulled into the Amazonian River, no one knew what it was for. Soon, locals found out that a team of workers in the forest had found the biggest snake ever, and the crane was needed to pull it up. The snake was identified as a gigantic titanoboa and was claimed to be the biggest snake ever caught in the Amazon. Tentacled creature. Chinese locals were in for quite a surprise when they found this bizarre critter hanging around in a very remote location. It just looked like a clump of tentacles. With no apparent body, face, or other features, it was a real head scratcher how this thing was moving. Some type of mutant, an undiscovered species, or something completely out of this world, the mystery remains to this day. Dense discovery. There's a theory that our forests are secretly fostering aliens, and have been for several decades. That would explain why every UFO sighting goes inconclusive, and how they just remotely vanish off of the face of the Earth. And if you think I'm pulling your leg, just take a look. This is a pretty old video recorded some decades ago, and if what it's showing is anywhere close to the truth, we're in trouble. As for the size of the UFO, some enthusiasts believe UFOs aren't actually aircrafts, but portal openers for bigger aircrafts. And since this was recorded in the Amazon, maybe it's a good thing we're miles away from it. Crawling cigar. You never know when a simple walk around the woods can turn into a creepy encounter. A guy recorded this on his walk. A dark, strange-looking, long creature seemed to be crawling on the ground with no apparent bodily features, and I've never seen a snake like this. It basically looked like a cigar-shaped wooden log slithering away. So could it be an unknown creature yet to be discovered, or something more creepy was at play here? Let me know your take on this. Sudden relapse. We think nature is all sunshine and roses, but there in the depths live creatures that would make you think otherwise. Take this tortoise as an example. You'd think it's just a regular tort, but the way it moves, breathes, and even drinks water. How could you say this isn't creepy at least to some degree? But wait for it. Its appearance isn't just soulless. There's something evil about it, and Alright, didn't I tell you there was something wrong with this animal? Glowworm. For the past few months, somewhere in the Brazilian highlands, locals have been reporting seeing a glowing humanoid. Of course, like all things mythical, nobody's ever taken the idea seriously, save for a few. But just some days ago, one tourist finally managed to capture a glimpse of the alleged glowing being. From a distance, despite being in broad daylight, you can spot the glow, and boy is it strong. Now, although it doesn't really have a humanoid shape, that's probably because of the distance. But what could it be? Some claim it could be an angel, but what if it's an alien being capable of reflecting light? Humanoid on a stroll. When this clip was posted online, it instantly became famous as the most recent sighting of a Sasquatch. People thought it was the legendary ape-like giant, but as more and more people saw the footage, the real truth behind the clip came out, and turns out it was no giant but a bee hunter. Wearing his protective suit, his massive suit gave him the appearance of a giant. It's crazy how even simple things can become extraordinary in the woods. Creepy spider. We all know how diverse life is in the Amazon, and finding creatures you've never seen before is something quite normal, like this little guy. Found by a guy in the Amazonian jungle, this tiny critter looked like some kind of a spider, with a greenish body and hairy red tentacles. No one had ever seen a spider quite like that. Some speculated it could be a new species discovered. Others entertained the idea of either a mutant or some experimental creature. Bojack horsemen.
Dude, wait, look.
A woman was out in the woods exploring nature when he came across something he wasn't expecting. After noticing strange rustling in the distance, she started recording to see what was lurking in the woods. And to her surprise, a creature seemed to be hiding within the trees. Although its complete figure was captured on camera, the woman was sure it was a humanoid horse, with the face of a horse and rest of its body resembling human. Folks online thought the woman had encountered the real-life Bojack horseman, but what it actually was has remained a mystery to this day.
Dude, wait, look.
Dancing plant. How to tell if it's a good day in the woods? Well, if you see something like this, just know that it's a happy day. Someone uploaded this clip of an uprooted plant dancing away in the forest. I know it's hard to believe, but see for yourself. When people thought this clip was nothing more than just a hoax, someone came forward saying it could be a live plant. Feathered snake. A snake with feathers that can fly, spitting its venom on anyone, anywhere. Sounds like a nightmare, but looks like this nightmare came to life for this guy when he found this creature out and about in the wild. A long snake slithering underwater was seen sporting a pair of orange-colored feathers right behind its head. I know we're thinking the same thing. How would it fly? Well, that's something we won't find out. Netizens suggested it could be a hybrid creature. Skeptics, however, thought these feathers looked like a chicken's, and someone probably attached them on. What do you think? Mutant. A fisherman in Ukraine was out on his routine round around the river when he discovered this sight that left him searching for answers. A massive snake was found near the river shore. By the looks of it, the poor snake had probably passed away. A giant head and mangled teeth, the reptile seemed to be a mutant. It's heartbreaking to see even the most ruthless animals in such a vulnerable state. Silent Stalker. It's one thing seeing some creepy being in the woods, and it's another when you realize it's probably somewhere just a few miles away from you. This monstrosity was captured by a trail camera in a forest in North America. And boy does it not look friendly, carefully keeping its frame away as if it knew it was being filmed. The creature appeared to be a Sasquatch of some sort, and if we're right about that, this means this is one of the biggest proofs we've ever gotten about the creature's existence. Doomsday Alert.
Inside the rocks.
It's time to get your affairs in order, folks, because what we're seeing is as close to hell as nobody ever wants to get. Now, I don't know what's going on, but there are a couple of theories about this one. Some say the Earth's core is silently leaking from crevices all over the world, but if that was the case, I'm pretty sure scientists would already be on it. There's also the theory that the ground has a massive gas reserve, and while that could be true, what's the fun in that? Maybe, just maybe, we ought to behave better just for the sake of it.
Inside the rocks.
Dragonair. Dragons, they're not real, right? Well, that's what I thought until I got a look at this. Now, this was allegedly filmed over some cliffs in Brazil by a mountaineer who couldn't continue upward. Some people say the country has always hosted dragons, but because they're so high up and unreachable, nobody really ever got the chance to encounter them. I don't know what happened to this mountaineer either. A few think the mountaineer purposely kept their identity a secret, while others believe they may have succumbed to the dragon's wrath. But one thing's for certain, dragons do exist. Behemoth Find. Spanning several inches, this behemoth of a bone was discovered by a Mexican local who was probably as surprised as us at the discovery. Now, while it's easy to say this is just an elephant's bone, that's not really the case. Experts have analyzed the specimen and claim this could belong to a prehistoric creature, maybe some animal that hasn't walked the earth for 1,000 centuries. Or did it? You see, despite belonging to some prehistoric creature, the bone's pretty fresh. So either we're living among behemoths that have yet to show themselves, or we're discovering something much, much scarier.
Esto es un hueso. Es un hueso.
Stoned in. Here's something I bet you hadn't seen before. This isn't just a prop, although it very much looks like one. This is a stone, believe it or not, and it's very much real. Now, since we all know most stones don't just float casually, it means there's something very off about this one. Some believe this actually an alien rock. Perhaps it was smuggled here by some aliens a couple of years ago, or just left behind. UFO enthusiasts believe this rock is actually capable of traveling across dimensions, or has similar interdimensional properties, which might explain how it's floating in the water. Ripple effect. I'm no marine expert, but I do know when a river body begins making ripples like that, it's a sign you should head for the shore. Now, let me preface by saying it isn't anything out of the ordinary to see something like this, especially when you can't really see beneath the waves. But this is exactly why it's something we should be scared of. You never know what's lurking under there, and while we're all free to imagine this is some sort of croc, since when do those reptiles making bubbles like that? I'm beginning to think there's some sort of evil creature living there. Some sea monster or something along those lines. Demonic face. Sick of hearing noises at night, a guy decided to find out what was behind the disturbances and put up a home security camera. A couple days later, he found this footage and was scared to even leave his home. The screen showed someone sitting behind the plants with a demonic face. Although it seemed like a humanoid, nothing about it was remotely human. Can you imagine seeing something like this hanging around outside your home? Could this be someone in a costume trying to scare the guy, or was his house really haunted? I'll let you be the judge of that. Smoking fish.
This footage shows a fish poking its head out of the mud.
This video captured a fish doing something you'd never expect from a fish. Smoking. Yeah, you heard that right. A guy managed to film this fish buried under a whole bunch of mud, exhaling smoke out of its mouth. Are fish supposed to do that? I have no idea what this fish has been smoking, but one thing's for sure, I wouldn't want it to end up on anyone's dinner plate.
This footage shows a fish poking its head out of the mud.
Bizarre creature. A fisherman near Singapore got the surprise of his life when he pulled up his catch and found a creature with almost 100 wiggling arms moving in his net. At first, he thought he'd caught some weird mix between a starfish and an octopus. Confused about what he'd found, he shared a video online. That's when he found this weird-looking sea creature had a name: the basket sea star, or brittle star. While most people know about regular starfish with 5 arms, this many-armed cousin quietly lives in our oceans. Just when we think we know all about the animals in the sea, something like this turns up. Caterpie discovered.
Those eyes, they fill with air. They've even got the white spots.
You ever just see something that truly baffles you? Well, in the animal kingdom, there are plenty of anomalies. And this one's got me beat. This animal enthusiast ventured into the depths of Amazon to find one caterpillar that's really breaking stereotypes, literally. While we think caterpillars are adorable creatures, this one's got a defense mechanism that's bound to scare away the biggest predators. That's right, mimicking a snake. Now I didn't know that was possible, but something about this reminds me of Caterpie.
Those eyes, they fill with air. They've even got the white spots.
Pyromaniac Flyer. Somebody alert J.K. Rowling, because what we're seeing can only be chalked off as something magical. All references aside, what on earth is this mysterious flyer? Well, we've got a couple of theories to list off of. Firstly, some think this is a flying snake, but that doesn't explain the fire. And if you think there's a fire-breathing creature out there, wouldn't it be dangerous for it to live in the woods, which are, I don't know, extremely flammable? A few also think this could be a pyrotechnical maniac's project, but the jury's still out. What do you think? Draconian Glimpse. A decade ago, someone mysteriously uploaded this video on the internet, and it's been confusing people ever since. You see, the videos have no discernible identity, except claiming it was filmed somewhere in a river in Thailand, and apparently shows a real-life dragon swimming in the water. Now, while you and I are free to question that, locals in the area sounded pretty concerned. I don't think that's a reaction you could fake, but why isn't there anything else going on? Is it possible authorities purposely shut down any circulating videos because they didn't want anyone to find out the truth? Draconian Lair. I know, you'll have to squint your eyes for this one. But when you finally spot that thing, you're going to be as horrified as I was. Deep in the thickets, a reptilian creature lurking with a presence you could only call terrifying. Now some say this is just a mama gator, but that doesn't really add up with those ferocious creatures' behavior. Look a little closely and you'll see the resemblance though, which is why so many are wondering if this is some secret dragon's lair that was accidentally discovered. And if that's the case, I wonder why it hasn't been revealed. Veined being. This was leaked by a whistleblower from Area 51, allegedly. Apparently aliens aren't only just visiting Earth, but some of them have been captured by officers too, just like this one, which somehow ended up on a stretcher. Perhaps these soldiers are trying to take it to some secret facility, or maybe just aiding it. Although the video only lasts a couple of seconds, it's enough to convince you that alien or no alien, something truly remarkable is going on around the world. Gryffindor's play. One thing about dense jungles that you won't believe until you see is the mystery. You never know the type of creatures they hold, and if we've learned anything, it's that these could be supernatural beings too. This was allegedly filmed somewhere in the thickness of Costa Rican forests. And that's right, that's the legendary creature Griffin, the one which sports an eagle's body and a lion's head, although it looks like this one was doctored in a lab because it clearly got a couple of extra features. Thank you very much for watching the video. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to not miss any of the upcoming amazing videos. Thank you once again.
Man, it's an over 200 pounder right here.